Hey everybody, Chris Dortch here from chrisdortch.com. I wanted to walk you through some of the measurements for the main platform of a custom base for the USS Flagg. One of the biggest questions that I get is, how can I just make the markings without actually taking my flag apart and putting it down and tracing the support beams and all of that stuff? So what are the actual measurements? And that's a great question. Because typically what I've done is taken the structure apart and lay it out and trace it and so forth. But what I've done in this particular base is I've taken the time to mark each of the measurements so that you won't have to have the flag taken apart. You won't have to set it up and trace it or anything like that. Now, we're going to start at the front of the ship. This is the bow. We'll do this in another tutorial. But it's made up of, this is in process. This is where it begins. It's several pieces that are tapering in size. Eventually you put them all together and do a lot of putty, a lot of sanding, and you end up with the bow of the ship. But this is where the bow of the ship is going to be. And when you move the bow of the ship into its place, I've got some lines there. The center of the ship is marked. I always do that the first thing with the chalk lines, 28 inches wide, and I go ahead and mark the very middle of it, and that's where the bow is going to rest. So that's this first line is actually marking exactly where the bow of the ship is going to rest, and that is going to be at 7 inches and 7 5/16 inches from the front. So if that's the front, and we're going to go in 7 5/16 inches from the front. Now again, this is 28 inches by 78 3/4. So from there, our next marking, we're going to mark where all these pieces are going to be. The center of the next one is going to be at 28 5/8 inch from the front. And that's going to mark the center. What I do is I mark the center on the edge of the plywood. And the reason I do that is because after I've made my markings, after I've indicated exactly where the pilot holes are going to go for attaching the walls, then I need a place, after I paint it, I need a place to identify, and that edge is going to help me identify. So the center is going to be where the pilot holes are going to go, so that's important. And then from the edge, 9 inches in, so edge to edge of that next wall is 9 inches. So from the edge of this plywood to the center of that wall is going to be 9 3/8 inch. 9 3/8 inches. And that's going to be that center wall. And then moving on down, again, measuring from the very front, this one is going to be 50 5/8 inches from the very front. And here we've marked the center. The lines on each side, by the way, that's 3/8 inches to the left, 3/8 inches to the right. That's 3/4 inch for the thickness of the wall. So it's marking the center of where that wall is going to be. And then let me go ahead and go to the other side before I move into the stern. This is the elevator section. The elevator, this is going to be the thickness. This is going to show you the thickness of the elevator walls, not the actual 3/4 inch walls that you're going to be putting on, but it's going to help you find the center. And so again, from the front, you have 18 3/4 to that first line, and then we have 19 1/4 to that second line, so a 1/2 inch wide. And then you can mark the center of that to know exactly where your wall is going to end up. This side is going to be 33 3/8, and then 33 7/8 from the front. And then coming from this side, this edge, to the inside, the first one is going to be 8 1/4, And then the second one is 8 3/4 inches. So again, a 1/2 inch thickness is the thickness of the walls of the elevator, but your actual walls are going to be 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch walls. Now let's move back to the stern. This is where you have a little bit of flexibility with design, adding a little bit of margin. Same thing with the front. I'll have some things there, but I've already got this one marked up. But as far as the edges of the stern, what we want to do is come from the back. You're going to come in 7 4/16 inches from the back, and then mark all the way across. And by the way, this is a great tool. Let me go ahead and grab it. I'll show you why. You'll need a great T-square like this. This will allow you to make these marks go all the way across. You can mark those 3/8 inch sections exactly where you need them. All right, so we're moving from the back, 7 4/16 from the back, and we'll go all the way across. Then from there, we have another mark that's 14 13/16 from the back. The only thing that we're doing here is basically we're tapering off and we're cutting out a section to just allow a little bit of design, but this is some margin between the platform for the stern, and just allows a little bit of margin on the base platform. So that will give you some ideas. And as far as the width of the stern, the way we've got it lined up here is 7.5 inches from this edge, marks the outer edge of the stern platform, and then same thing on this side, 7.5 inches from the edge of the platform, from the edge of the piece of wood to the edge of the stern platform. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with the layout and getting some of these cuts ready to make and the markings. And we'll do another tutorial on placement of the walls. One more thing, on the front end of the ship, at the bow of the ship, we have a lot of freedom here when it comes to the shape or the design. You can do curves just straight out from the bow of the ship and curve it back into the rest. I've done that several times. This is a new design that I've done. I created some 3D printed shields that go on the front end just off of the bow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, and then this will rest right on that corner. So I will cut that out as part of the base, and it gives it this very rigid, menacing front look, and also has the nice 99 on the front end of it. So again, you have a lot of freedom here. You can just do curves. You can bring it right back out and curve it in however you want. But there's a lot of different ways that you can do the design of the bow of the ship. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you get a chance, visit me at chrisdorch.com. You can see the store online, and there's tons of free resources as well. Again, thanks for watching the video.